Hail and welcome back to When the Night Comes. I'm Agent of Mischief. Let's jump back on in, shall we? It passes in a blur. I watch Piper get her title back, the highest ranking hunter Lunaris, after me. She smiles the whole time, staring out into the crowd as they cheer for her. She's given extra honors for her involvement in the Harry investigation. None of these people who clap and grin for us know what really happened, but they don't care. All they care is that they're safe. I step out to the podium and listen to August talk, but it feels like I'm underwater, like everything is muffled and far away. A few weeks ago, when I was told that I'd been offered this position, August pulled me aside and asked me if I wanted the responsibility, and I asked them, why me? I expected them to shrug and reply with, why not, but they didn't. They said that Harry targeted me for a reason, for my stats and my kill count, but August began to see from the moment we started working together that Harry had it all wrong. That I'm so much more than the strength I have and the lives I take, and that Harry never accounted for all the human parts of me. That I'm determined, that I want to fight to survive even when the odds are stacked against me, that I am human above all else, despite the inhuman blood that runs through my veins. So as August pins that badge to my coat and ties my sash around my waist, I remember those words, and I smile and wave at the gathered crowd, swearing to protect them no matter what. I see familiar faces out there: Finn, Ezra, Alcar, Raven, and Lux. Even Edna left the wolf to grimace at me from afar. Aw, thanks, Edna. I've made Lunaris my home somehow, after never really having one before. I'm immediately flanked by two familiar faces when I step into the crowd. Raven and Lux both practically jumping for joy when they each take one of my hands in their own. You look phenomenal. I could practically hear Finn purring from a mile off when he first saw you. Raven, please. Raven giggles and Lux can't help but smile at the sound. We're proud of you. Crazy proud. Lux sounds furiously catching Raven's arm. We love you. I love you too. They both pull me into a crushing embrace, but it's over quickly when Raven pulls back, her crimson eyes widening comically as she spots something over my shoulder. She quickly takes Lux's hand and begins to walk backwards, dragging her along. Gotta dash. See you at home. Lux waves, and then I can feel him before I see him. Just like it always is, a tingle from the tips of my fingers right down to my toes, a coolness that spreads across my skin leaves the hair on the back of my neck and arms standing to attention, saluting him. I didn't take my eyes off him throughout the ceremony once I spotted him, and he watched me like I was the only person in the square, his burning gaze warming me even at a distance. I feel the cool press of his hands upon my arms, his lips against my ear.
Hello, Lieutenant. That title looks good on you, you know.
I laugh, turning to face him. The smile on his face is gorgeous and screams trouble. Why, thank you. You look far too handsome. It was terribly distracting while I was up there. He chuckles, a deep sound more than pleasing. I told you I wanted to look good for you. He lifts his fingers with my own, and we drop our hands to hang between us.
I'd very much like to steal you away, if such a thing is permitted.
Depends on where you're taking me. He leans in.
Somewhere no one will dare disturb us.
It's so peaceful out here. I lean back against the solid plane of his chest, his arms around me, sparse leaves rustling quietly above us where we sit beneath one of the towering trees that line the headstones. I love it in the graveyard, strangely. It brings back memories of the night that I first spent time alone with Finn. The first careful flirtations, the first lingering glances. Even then, I think I knew I would love him. You're quiet. I shrug, turning to look at him. I have a lot on my mind. He smiles, pressing a kiss to my temple as I relax in his embrace. It has been a busy day, week, month. I can't remember the last time I felt this relaxed, actually. He holds me a little tighter, squishing his face against my cheek for a moment before he shifts so that we face each other. The way I feel when he looks at me is something I could never even try to describe.
You'll never truly know just how proud I am of you. I love you.
He smiles and the whole graveyard seems to glisten around him. I love you too. Thank you for believing me, for always letting me forge my own path.
Your path is yours and yours alone. I'm just along for the ride.
At this moment, I realize that there's nowhere else I'd rather be. Not in the wolf with tankards raised to my name, not anywhere but here in his arms. He reaches for me and I go willingly, tugged against his broad chest once again. I laugh and shiver against him, and he tips his head to run his nose along my jaw, humming quietly. You're cold. I am snuggled up against a tombstone in a graveyard at night with a vampire. It's self-inflicted.
I can try to warm you up, you know. All you have to do is ask.
I find my interest considerably piqued. Is that so? Finn's eyes darken and adjusts his aliens in and takes my chin between forefinger and thumb. He throws a little kisses along my jaw, and I brace myself as his hand trails over my arm. He comes to a stop and displays his palm over the place where my heart beats. Fast but steady, just for him. I swear that if his heart could beat, that they'd be in sync. I laugh when his lips find the curve of my throat. The sound shaky as it leaps my lips. He pulls back, feigning offense beautifully.
You'll have to be quiet. We don't want to wake the neighbors.
They're all dead. He smiles, his fingers finding their way into my hair.
Oh, you're right. Are you warmer now?
I melt under his touch, tipping my head skyward as his hand carefully curls it around my throat, the gentle pressure feeling a promise. His lips brush mine, but he doesn't kiss me, he just smiles. I am, as warm as if I'd been laying in the sun. He's watching me with a gaze full of love and admiration, and in this moment I realize that this is my life now. This is truly my home. He is my home. My light amongst all the darknesses in life. Then I look up, marveling at how bright the stars are in Lunaris tonight. They seem designed just for us, flashing like Morse code against a sweeping canopy of pure, perfect obsidian. I close my eyes. Warmer than I've ever been. Oh shit, that's the end? If I'd known, maybe I'd gotten a little over with that. Wait. Okay. What's in extras then? Oh, well, we got some mini stories. We could do one of those. Why is it locked? I just want to know. I just want to talk. Okay. Let's do one of these mini stories then. We still got time. Possibly Caramera. Probably Big Fucking Cat. Okay, they didn't save my info, I guess. The hours late and the day has been long, really long. The joys of being important, I suppose. Ever since defeating Harry, Lunaris has been, well, fucking boring. Though I found ways to keep myself entertained.
Come to bed already, will you?
I'm coming. I regret that immediately. Sir. That's very explicit. I'm not even going to say that. I sighed, far too used to him at this point to let it affect me. I continued removing the weapons I have strapped to my person, putting them safely in my do not burn your boyfriend box and closing the latch. But when I turn and find him lying upon the bed wrapped in dark sheets like a present, I can't stifle my smile. Finnegan. Yes? He quirks up around, pats the empty space, my space, and I eagerly slide in beside him. He's quick to settle behind me, wiggling his fingers as I present my shoulders for a thorough de-stressing. Turns out vampires are exceedingly good at giving massages. Go figure. He kneads the knots out of my tense muscles with clever fingers, coaxing a few relatively embarrassing noises out of me. Then I feel him withdrawing his touch, and a cool chin finds home upon my shoulder. How tired are you exactly? I grin. With no hesitation, I turn to face him, throwing myself on top of him in a mess of limbs and laughter. Strong arms encircle my waist, his lips cold and refreshing while they pressed against my fluttering pulse. My jaw might have become tedious, but coming home to this every night makes up for it in spades. Between a series of greedy kisses, I manage to take his hands and face in my hands, holding him steady and letting that generous glimpse of fang he offers me ignite every single one of my senses. Why? What did you have in mind? I'm grinning because I'm not quite stupid enough to be that ignorant. I just enjoy him when he tells me in detail. In vivid detail. He growls, a little rumble settling deep in his chest, and his mouth is back on mine. His hands are everywhere, mapping every inch of my body, making me feel more invigorated than any coffee or elixir ever could. Then he presses his lips to my ears, and I brace myself.
I'm going to
Hunter Adams.
Fuck!
Finn Finn falls back against the mattress and stares at the ceiling, crossing his arms over his chest dramatically and looking very much like the stereotypical vampire. I lean in and press a kiss to his forehead, knowing I shouldn't keep this particular visitor waiting, and I drag myself from the sheets. I grab on one of Finn's shirts to pull on as I go. August is frowning when I tug open the door. It must be bad if you dragged yourself down here. They give me the look. I still don't know how you survived down here. I quirk an eyebrow at them and open the door further, giving them a view of my very naked boyfriend lying on the bed. August groans and covers their eyes. Yes, lovely. Now put on some clothes and hurry up. Finn is already gathering my uniform for me when I close the door and listen to the fading click of August's heels in the corridor. Duty calls. I sigh, sitting myself on the broad shoulders as he helps me step into my trousers. Indeed it does.
See you when you get back. I'll be waiting.
I smile at him and say goodbye, knowing he always will be. Piper and I sit and wait to be briefed on this apparent urgent enough to be pulled away from my horribly attractive vampire boyfriend matter. She's just as enthused as I am, her feet tapping against the floor rapidly where she lounges in the chair, legs spread. August enters and she makes no effort to sit up, simply frowning a little harder as they take us to seat at their desk. I try to be at least a little professional and wipe the thought of Finn waiting for me at home from my mind. Life is so unfair. Thank you for coming at such short notice. Yeah, well, what's bloody new, right?
It is your job, you know. I thought you enjoyed stabbing things anyway.
She straightens up at the prospect of getting to fight something.
Oh, so it's that kind of emergency.
Not another night of you tearfully, drunkenly begging us to help you plan a meeting with some diplomat from Zascana because he's cute. I kick her boot as I spot their cheeks getting pinker by the second. We promised them we'd not speak of that night. You promised we'd never speak of that night. And we won't, will we, Piper? She scoffs, leaning forward and reaching across the desk to place her hand on top of August, offering them a reassuring pat. No, we won't. And she smirks, and I know that she isn't letting it go. I worry for her life. Send your darling my love in your next letter, won't you? Anyway, they clear their throat and settle back into that familiar stuffy demeanor. There's a chimera on the loose. Piper groans loudly beside me, throwing her hands in the air as she holds herself out of her chair and begins to pace. I offer them a small smile, one that says I'm terribly sorry for her, but you're used to it by now. Are you sure? Because last time it was a cat, and the time before that, yes, I'm aware. I'm also aware that the chimeras are incredibly unpredictable and murderous. They throw Piper a pointed glance. And if we ignore every report that comes in involving a chimera, one actually turns up and gobbles up the townsfolk. They spread their hands and offer me the floor. That would be bad. Yes, it would be very bad. That's always fucking chimeras, isn't it? Can't you sign an order that makes every Lunarian get a bloody eye test? They're all mad. Look, I'm very sorry that this probably unfounded report has come in at such an hour, but you're my best hunters. I'm very much appreciated if you... We're on it, don't worry. I stand to take Piper by the elbow because the faster we get the fuck out of here and find this whatever it is, the sooner I get home to Finn. Then I think about his lips and his everything, and for fuck's sake, boy! I flash her a warning glance, trying my hardest to convey my urgency with wide eyes. Piper! She growls through clenched teeth and tosses August a glare as I drag her from their office.
If it is a cat, you're buying drinks for the next month at Friday Club, Willenheim.
I wave at them politely before I close the door. Piper and I step outside with nothing but a hastily scribbled pile of reports in our hands. The first report states that there was unusual activity in the forest.
Unusual activity in Lunaris. A town teeming with creepy creatures. What a revelation.
I smirk at her and knock her shoulder with mine in passing. Come on, the sooner we get this done, the sooner we can go. She sidesteps alongside me, a mischievous look on her face. How's things with Living Dead Boy? I cast her a sideways glance. Why do you ask? And then an ultra-familiar howl of a creature rings out.
Fuck.
I looked at the skies, but I already know there's no full moon until tomorrow, and our lichen trees are solid thanks to August. There's only one other creature besides the lichen that can make such a noise. So maybe we do have a chimera. Let's dash. Viper spins on her heels and sheathes her daggers, heading for the tree line. I pocket the reports and follow suit. Sure enough, the forest seems off. That's not saying a lot for Lunaris, but this particular area of forest is in a sorrier state than usual. There's fresh, deep welts carved from the tree trunks, and portions of the forest floor are upturned as if something was trying to bury deep. Piper and I close our eyes, standing in the center of the clearing in total silence. I let my other senses take over, my heart slowing, my fingers tingling. I can feel a creature nearby, but it feels... You've got to be fucking kidding me! It's an Icesailor culprit. Two glowing crimson eyes peeking out from behind a tree, far too small to conceal all 6'2" of him and his stupid bushy tail.
Get out of here, you splendid moron, so I can clip you about both sets of ears.
What's all the yelling about?
I'm just out here minding my own damn business. Can't a man take a walk around here anymore?
No. You hunters are always ruining my life. Especially you. He jabs a finger in Piper's direction. For a second, I think she might snap it off. When these two are in the same room, the only thing that can quell their burning hatred for each other is a pissing match. And tonight, I don't have the patience or the energy, so I smoothly step between them. We're here on an investigation, which I'd very much like to solve so I can go home to my boyfriend. So, these claw marks and burrows, have you seen any sign of a chimera? Of course, cheeks turn pink, bright pink. Alcar. Seriously, this mess was you? He throws his hands up in the air, his tail lashing wildly behind him.
It's the night before the full moon, isn't it?
I sigh, taking the first report out of my pocket and tearing it to shreds. It's fine, it's not your fault. Piper, on the other hand, is less sympathetic. Her laughter can probably be heard back at headquarters. Elgar pouts a little harder, his tail now wagging so furiously it's a mere blur. I try to reassure him. This is perfectly normal, it happens to every lichen. I know that.
Now, can you please piss off? If I don't dig some more holes, I think I might combust.
I cringe as Piper begins to laugh again. Report number 2 says something about a strange figure being spotted lurking in the graveyard. Again, not entirely unusual for a town like Lunaris, and I can't help feel like we're truly being taken on a wild goose chase. We circle the headstones and look for clues, nothing in particular indicating that a creature like a chimera could have just passed through. They're not exactly subtle.
I can sense nothing other than a bunch of bones. You?
I shrug. Same, another dead end.
Nice. Love a good graveyard joke.
I am shacking up with the vampire. He's taught me more than a few. My feet are starting to hurt and so is my head. Almost 24 hours without sleep will do that to you, I suppose. I can see Piper is struggling too, her usual confident stance starting into a sleepy slump. Do you think we should split up? Piper sighs and kicks aside a hefty stone, sending it hurling into the forest. I guess I could hit up clue 3 while you hang out here for a bit. I grab report number 3 out of the pile and hand it to her, eyeing a particularly comfortable spot in the grass I might just take a quick break on. Deal, meet me back at headquarters after? You've got it, boss. I roll my eyes and watch as she powers on, heading towards the deserted Ibex. I settle down in the grass, a gentle breeze rustling the canopy of trees that hang over me. The stars are bright and abundant as I lay back and gaze at the skies, and with a little effort, I find myself drifting off. Don't take a nap in a graveyard! Don't do that! I know they're so peaceful, but why? Why? Probably not a good idea, really. This is a graveyard after all. That's what I just fucking said. But I just can't stop myself. I don't know how long I doze off for, but when I do wake up to the sound of something, I do to the sound of something flapping around my head. I sit up fast, my head and my heart pounding, and I hear a muted giggle coming from somewhere in the graveyard. I stand and clutch for the dagger I keep on my holster as I see a hulking shadow out of the corner of my eye. Fuck. I lunge, slashing blindly into the darkness, and I hit a cloud of thick black smoke that dissipates upon contact. I hear another giggle, and the smoke curls in on itself and begins to float away, almost as if it's daring me to follow. So like the heroic idiot I am, I oblige. I chase it halfway across town into the depths of the catacombs, and the smoke comes to a standstill. Then it materializes into something that most definitely isn't a chimera. I suddenly realize why I had a strange feeling I recognized that high-pitched giggle. Hey, good looking. Raven, why? She shrugs. Spotted you napping and thought you could do with a little something to get you back on your toes. Not mad, are you? I sigh and put my dagger away when she eyes it pointedly, almost forgetting I was holding it altogether. No, I'm not mad. Finn will be, though. I was looking for a creature. There was a report of something big and scary lurking in the graveyard. Her red eyes lighten up, practically glowing in the dull candlelight. Scary, you say? Good to know my hard work paid off. Raven, what do you mean? She wiggles her fingers in front of my face. Been working on some new forms is all. This is my biggest yet. Ah, so another Duff report then. Wonderful. I see. Then Raven stiffens up, her expression growing serious. Uh-oh. Then I hear footsteps. Please don't tell him. Hello, lover. Home so soon? Not quite. I offer him an awkward smile, and though he's instantly suspicious, his golden eyes flickering between Raven and me. What did she do? Raven looks at me and winks, grinning devilishly. I sigh. I just can't stand here in the light of his face. Literally, we're connected now. My thoughts are basically his and his are mine. Perks of a vampire boyfriend. Also, this isn't the first time Raven has scared the living daylights out of our townsfolk recently. I didn't expect to gain a 400-year-old daughter and turn into a bat. Now, apparently other things when I started dating Finn, but here we are. However, I don't have to be the one to be the bad guy here. She's literally the bad guy. Raven, I think you should tell him. Tell me what? Fine. Raven hooks her arm through his and cozies up to him, sighing deeply as she flutters her lashes. See, the thing is that I might have just found a new form to play in. We've asked you so many times. Come on. I get bored sometimes when Lux is working. What's a girl supposed to do when you two spend all your time together, huh?
You're forgiven. Just don't do it again.
Finn playfully swats her aside, side-eyeing her brutally as she waves at me and skips off down the corridor, disappearing into the darkness. You okay? I grumble, moving and winding my arms around his neck for a moment's reprieve. Haven't happened to see Chimera knocking about anywhere, have you? He huffs a laugh, rubbing his hand over my back in a soothing drag. I'd certainly know if there was one here. The whole clan would. I pull away and frown at him. Horrible, smelly things. Could sense one a mile off. I know, but we keep getting reports of one being sighted all over town. Is it not just a really big cat again? I huff a laugh, thinking that it probably most definitely is. Yes, at this point it has to be. Then presses a kiss to my forehead, a cool finger curling under my chin to lift my head up.
I miss you. Hurry home.
I've only been gone for an hour. God. It's all in the motivation I need to find this fucking cat. I take a path through the deserted market on my way to headquarters. No more reports to gaze upon for clues. No more nothing. At least the citizens of Lunaris are safe and tucked up in their beds if a horrible three-headed monster does pop out of the shadows. I look up at the stars and take a deep breath, filling my lungs with fresh air, and I smile. Despite a total waste of my night, I still feel like at least I've done my job. And then, a quiet meow. Oh, kitty, hello! Coco? Thank you for bringing her back. I was so worried. She's been gone for hours now. I smell an Ezra watching Coco weave between his feet, her tail flicking against his calves. No problem at all. I guess she's pretty lucky there wasn't a Chimera out there. Oh, she'd be fine if there was. I look at Coco and see the wise, magical glimmer in her eyes. I think that she would definitely stand her own against such a beast. Then I wonder if maybe she did cause a little trouble in her travels. Are you okay? Do you want some tea? His green eyes glisten at the prospect of offering hospitality, but I'm dying to get home to Finn. I'll pass tonight, thank you. Plus that stupid o'clock, aren't you tired? Beyond exhausted, but you know I can't resist offering. Then I'll leave you to it. He's such a tender lad, I love him. Thank you. Good night, Raven. Good night, Ezra. After meeting up with Piper back at the office and debriefing, I drag myself across town and back home. Finally. There often isn't a greater sight than Finn at the end of a long day, but I somehow find it in me to appreciate it a little harder tonight.
Please tell me you're here to stay this time.
I quickly begin to shed my uniform, and Finn chuckles, getting his answer. Excellent. He falls back into the bed with a bounce, and I lounge on his side, chucking the book he was reading onto the side table. Do you want to talk about it? I shake my head profusely. Absolutely fucking not. Very well. Then he pulls the silky sheets back and pats my spine, his smile soft. Then come, rest. Adrenaline still dances in my veins despite the uneventful evening I had, so I think you should kiss me before I go to sleep. I watched his fangs crest over his bottom lip.
Is that so? It's not like I could ever deny such a request.
He kisses me full and slow and deep, and the sharp shadows of the flickering candlelight wash over him and paint him gold. I really can't believe this is my life sometimes. I'll never be over the fact that he's mine. Tomorrow will always come too soon with basking moments like this, but for now, everything is Finn. I suppose that Lunaris isn't quite so boring after all. Let's see, are there any other extras? Did we unlock anything else? Ooh, we do have some more mini-stories, but let's save that for another time. I think I'm gonna leave things here for now. If you enjoyed the video, if you've enjoyed the series, if you enjoyed the ending, if you enjoyed the characters, what have you, feel free to hit the like and subscribe buttons and maybe leave a comment. Those are always appreciated. And I will see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.